Hey everyone, this is Andrea reaching out to you with another road trip finds. This time I'm actually on the road and decided I was going to take a break, but I'm like, no, you know me, I have to find the wine and I have to find something about the area I'm going to. Well, I'm coming to you from beautiful, bright, humid and hot Florida. I'm in Southwest Florida and have had a beautiful few days here just recharging, re-energizing, and getting to know this beautiful state because I really can't remember the last time I was actually here for more than, a couple days at a conference. So today I wanted to share two wines with you. I found a red and a white from the same vineyard. It's called Lake Ridge Winery and Vineyard. It's about 25 miles west of Orlando. So it's in northern Florida, but this is probably one of the most popular wineries in the entire state. This one's been around. Okay. Apparently, this happens a lot here too. Even though it's beautiful out, it might start pouring on us in the middle of this. But that's okay, not a problem. I could actually use a little bit of cooling down. It is super humid out here. Anyway, this is in a city called Claremont. So, yeah, it's about 25 miles west of Orlando. And this vineyard and winery has been around since 1989. So, it's been quite a while. And they have 127 acres where they cultivate different varietals, all sorts of different grapes actually. But the one that's in both of these is called the Muscadine, or Muscadine grapes. There's a lot of different varieties of it, but just to give you a general idea of what a Muscadine grape is, they're pretty big. They're like this big on the vine. They're actually very edible in the sense that if you've ever tried grapes like a Cabernet grape or a Pinot Noir grape, they're not like the best grapes to eat in sense if you're thinking of like a table grape. But these are kind of fun because they actually are really sweet and they're used for other things, not just wine, but jellies and jams and even juice, just juice itself. They have a really tough skin that's very similar to a plum. So think about biting into a plum. That's what it feels like when you eat one of these grapes. So it's got some fruitiness to it. It's a very dark grape. So makes some red wine, very nice red wine, but it also makes a nice white wine. And you know what that's all about because we've talked about that before. But I'm looking at my notes here. Let's see. The Muscadine grape also it's native to this area. So think about the entire East Coast, especially in this southern area. So east of Texas, all the way over to Florida and to North Carolina, South Carolina. This grape grows really well in this area. So why not utilize what you can grow in this beautiful, humid, hot temperature? It loves this weather, so why not make some great wine out of it? So like I said, I've got two wines here. You can see the labels are a little wet. I'll show you up close if you can see there. There you go. It's Lake Ridge. This one is the Southern Red wine, and this one is the Southern White wine. It's kind of interesting because I was immediately looked at the back to get more information about the wine, and check it out, there's no label. So I was like, I'm not sure what I'm getting into. But then I noticed it's on the side here. It tells you a little bit about the wine. So I thought that was kind of neat. I've never really noticed the description of the wine on the side. So I thought that was kind of neat. So you always have to look at the bottle all the way around because you never know what you find on it. Let's see. What have I told you? What have I not told you? I don't know. Anyway, let's go ahead and give these wines a try and we'll see what they're all about because I've never had a Muscadine before, so I have no idea what it's all about. I poured a glass earlier, so there's a little condensation. Sorry about that. But you can see this white wine, pale gold color, really, really pretty. Just very refreshing. When I poured the wine, I could already smell some of the aromas, and I was like, "Ooh, this is going to be an interesting one to try." Again, we've talked about our favorites and giving a shot, out to new wines. So for me, it's white wines this year. So I'm giving some of these new varietals a try. So let's see what this is all about. So, interesting. It's actually really light now that I smell it. I guess maybe when I just pop the cork, you kind of get that initial aroma. But this is very pale in smell. But it does have a sweetness to it. There's some kind of sweetness, almost a little bit, I want to say honey, but it's a little bit, it's definitely got some kind of sweetness to it. So why not? We're just going to give it a try and see what it's all about. Ooh. I really thought this was going to be, when I was reading the descriptions of the Muscadine grape, that these grapes are very sweet. This one definitely has an interesting balance to it. I would actually, it has some sweetness to it, but it's got a little bit of acidity. I can feel my mouth watering a little bit, and it's pretty good. I'm actually really surprised that I like this. The bottle tells you that it's let's see, it's smooth, flavorful, and it expresses cream aromas and full fruit. It finishes slightly sweet, like the Muscadine grape. So but it's on the sweet, a little bit of a. It's not like that sweet. If you're thinking like Moscato or something to that effect, or like a really super sweet Riesling, this is not it. This is actually surprisingly, I would probably consider this a little dry, but it's not. It's definitely got some sweetness. So if you like sweet wine, you're gonna like this. But it probably would pair really well with some sweeter fruit, or fruit in general. Like I'm thinking refreshing fruit salad, but as well as cheese. Think your lighter cheeses, like maybe a provolone or a mozzarella, something like that. I really think it would go really well. But honestly, in this kind of humidity, in this kind of heat, it's really, really nice on its own. Yeah, this is a pleasant surprise. I'm giving this one a thumbs up. I really, really think this is one worth giving a try. I do have an audience, a studio audience behind me watching, so they're going to be sampling these as well. Maybe somebody will jump out and tell you what they think about it. But let's jump over to the red one. So the red one, again, the description was on the side, and it says that this is a smooth wine bursting full of fruits, that it's light-bodied, and it's of the noble variety of the Muscadine grape. It is a true balance of aromas with a refreshing aftertaste. And the suggestion on both of these is to serve them slightly chilled, which is what I did. I had them in the fridge for a little bit, took them out, let them just get a little bit more to room temperature, but they're not ice cold. I don't have ice cubes in it or anything like that. And this one says it would go really well with desserts and cheeses. So let's see what they're talking about. Definitely plum. I get plum on this. That's the first thing I smelled was plum, but a little bit of berries. Like maybe like a blueberry, something to that. Maybe a little cherry, some kind of berry. There's a berry flavor to it. It almost has a jamminess to it. But you can see, yeah, they said it was a lighter body. I don't know if I would consider this completely light, but I would say more medium. But you can see it's a really pretty red color. A little bit of a ruby color to it. Let's see what it tastes like. Okay, that's sweet. But I can see what they're saying, that it's got a smooth finish to it. This doesn't have anything that overpowers, so I wouldn't say it's definitely not, doesn't have tannin on it. I don't know if these were fermented in oak or not. I'm going to guess they weren't. But I didn't see that when I was researching about it, what it was fermented in. So I wouldn't say there's any oak on it. It's definitely something I think that needs to be served chilled. I can see it going really well with cheeses again. Some desserts as well. Remember, with desserts and wine, you don't want one to overpower the other. So I could see this going with like a really nice tart, for example. This is definitely, I'm not going to lie, it's not my cup of tea. But it's not bad. Again, a nice one for a hot, humid day like this, chilled. Who knows, I might even throw like some blackberries or blueberries in it just to make it more fun, almost sangria-ish. I could see these going well in a sangria, like we were talking about some of the other summery type wines. But this is definitely something new for me, and I am assuming it's new for you as well if you haven't heard of a Muscadine wine. These can be found at Lake Ridge. Let me see here. Make sure I get it right. I had it written down. There it is. LakeRidgeWinery.com is the website. So that's where you can find these wines and check out. They've got a few other ones that are Florida. You know, everything's from Florida. All the grapes are from Florida. So again, I like these road trip finds because we just talk about things that you wouldn't really think about looking for and looking at. And I like learning about these with you, one glass at a time. So if you've ever tried this, let us know. Comment, or a Muscadine wine or a Florida wine. If you have a recommendation, share it with us below. And I would love to hear if there's anything, any of your Florida wine stories would be great to hear. So thanks again for joining me on this edition of Road Trip Vines, and I look forward to the next one. Cheers, everyone. Bye.